let's talk about the cabinet vibration issue that I brought up in my full review of the Yamaha DXR10 MKII. So I wanted to do a video specifically talking about the vibration issue because I kind of feel like I freaked a few people out, and my intention wasn't to freak people out. Like, I like to bring up everything that I notice when I do a speaker review, and by no means do I think this vibration issue is a deal breaker when it comes to this speaker. This is one of the best sounding 10-inch speakers I've ever owned. Well, actually, I only owned 8-inch speakers before, so I'm only comparing it to the K8. But very good sounding speaker. I did a live sound event last week for a ribbon cutting, and probably one of the best sounding speaking engagements I've ever done. I didn't do any main EQ, I just did a little bit of EQ on the mic, and I mean, it sounded crystal clear and perfect. I even had a person sing a karaoke song for the ribbon cutting, and I mean, it sounded amazing. So by no means am I trying to steer anybody away from this. I just want to bring everything to people's attention before they buy this product. With that being said, I had also said I was a little hesitant about buying the 12-inch or the 15-inch version because I didn't know if the vibration issue was going to be worse in those because of the lower bass response. I did buy the DXR15 MKII, and I can tell you there is, at least from what I've noticed, zero vibration with that one. And I'll get into why here. So, after using these a little bit more, I've kind of come to a conclusion. I know initially I was questioning, you know, I got an early model run on it, or an early my serial number is really low, let's put it that way. So, you know, is there a manufacturing defect, I was asking? Is something loose? What's going on? People were commenting, well, you need to contact Yamaha and let them know so they can fix the issue. I don't think this is an issue that can be fixed, because what I think what we're experiencing here is the cabinet resonating. It's certain songs, it's at high volumes. I think there's a specific resonating frequency of this cabinet. And what they do to try to counteract that, if you look in the porthole, you'll see some white material, some white dampening material. And you'll notice there's a thin strip outlining the amp all the way around. But you'll also notice the amp takes up almost the entire cabinet. So there's very little dampening material in there. And being as how little dampening material is in there, I don't think it's enough to fully counteract the vibration at higher volume levels. So I think it's just, you know, it's something, you know, you're dealing with a plastic speaker. You know, cabinet vibration, resonating frequencies can be an issue. That's why they put dampening material in there. And I think the cabinet itself is just too small to have enough dampening material to counteract that. But now with that being said, as I tried to stress before, you don't hear any of that out front. None of it. This speaker is nice and quiet behind, and I really like that, and that's what allows you to hear the vibration. I mean, if it was just as loud behind the speaker as it is in front, you wouldn't notice a thing. So I actually prefer it being this quiet and noticing the vibration, but it was a little startling the first time I heard it, because I was like, man, is there something wrong with my speaker? Like, am I severely overdriving this thing to cause it to just vibrate, shake? Is it the driver? I didn't know, so ow. I just bit my tongue, by the way. And lost my train of thought all at the same time. Anyways, I'd also said in my full review, this is a 10-inch speaker. You're probably not going to bring this out to a school dance and expect just to use two tops for a thump and dance floor experience. If you have the 100 hertz crossover engaged, so like say you're playing a song with this front of house main mode, you're cranking it out, you're hearing that vibration behind because you're playing the right song to make that vibration happen. If you flip the high pass filter up to 100, like 90% of that vibration noise goes away when you do that. So if you're using this for a school dance with a sub and you're crossing it over at 100 hertz, you're probably not even going to notice any sort of vibration sound. It's only with the high pass filter off. And so I don't think it's a deal breaker. The main reason that I was experiencing that is I have the DXR10 MKIIs, and those subs, I tend to like to run the crossover at 80 hertz because I feel like that gets the little 12-inch to really focus the energy that it's got in the lower frequencies. So the dance that I really noticed this at, I had these crossed over at 80 hertz. And I think if I'm doing a dance like that, I think that I'm probably gonna have to do 100 hertz crossover, or just know that on certain songs I'm gonna hear a little vibration behind and not be startled by it. I know what it is, I know it's there, I know the crowd cannot hear it. You know, if I want it to go away, 100 hertz crossover. If I don't mind hearing it, 80 hertz crossover, full range. But, you know, really want to stress that, you know, nobody's gonna hear it. So that's the big thing. I'm gonna throw the 15 up here, just quickly. Whew, it's off camera. Okay, obviously you can see this cabinet is way bigger, and you can see the amp does not take up all the cabinet space. If you look through the port on this one, you can, you know, maybe even see it in this video, maybe not. Way more dampening material, and that's because there's way more cabinet space to just be putting these giant blocks of white foam all the way around the amp. And, you know, two things, you know, the cabinet size is different, which possibly makes the natural cabinet resonating frequency different because it's a different size cabinet, but also there's just way more dampening material in it. And I will say, like, I was making these things thump, front of house main mode, like these have really good bass response, outstanding sounding speaker. Playing the same song that makes the 10 vibrate through this, same volume level, everything, no vibration whatsoever. So I don't think in the larger cabinets, if you're going to be running a 15-inch, you know, if you want a sound system where you're not going to be using a sub, and because of what I said, you were hesitant about buying the 15, I can tell you, running the 15 full range, full volume, I don't think you're going to run into any resonating frequencies. On the 10, if you're doing a dance running full volume, you're going to want to be using a sub. And if you're using a sub, you know, 100 hertz crossover is probably the recommended to make sure this thing isn't going to resonate on you. If you're doing a corporate event, background music, speech, anything like that, you're not going to get a resonating frequency with this thing. It's going to sound just fine. So normally if I run into a problem that is really a deal breaker for me, if you've been watching my review channel, I sell it, it's out the door, I'm on to the next thing to find something better. I have no intention of selling these. This is still going to be my main speaker that I use. I just kind of wanted to clear up the vibration issue and let people know that I don't think it's not a manufacturing defect, it's just cabinet resonation. It's a plastic cabinet. It's something you have to deal with. That's why they put dampening material in it, and it just happens to be a smaller cabinet, so they can't put as much dampening material as what I think is necessary to get rid of those frequencies inside the box. I will make one more note, but I probably won't buy this speaker to test it out. The DXR10 MKII is an even smaller cabinet. So I am curious to anybody that maybe bought them, is there any dampening material in it? I'm really curious if there's any space around to put dampening material in it. Do you notice running your 8 at full range if there's a vibration issue? You know, maybe it doesn't hit low enough because it's an 8 instead of a 10 that you're not going to run into a vibration issue. Maybe it's worse because you can't fit any dampening material in there. I don't know. I don't think I will ever buy the 8s. I think the 10s are as small as I want to go. So I'm curious to hear from anybody out there that's maybe bought the 8s and are using them. But if you have any questions, make sure you throw it down in the comments section. Until next time, have a good day.